Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Woman Empowerment Series today with me, Farisha. And today I'm so excited and honored to have a special guest with us. It's Abir Abdul Rahim. Assalamualaikum. Hi Abir.
Hi Farisha, Waalaikumsalam. Hi everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. Selamat Hari Malaysia. It's amazing that we're doing on Hari Malaysia Day, and looking forward to the questions you're gonna grill me with.
Okay, and I'm really honored and grateful to have you here today because for Women Empowerment Series podcast, this is where I showcase the amazing and wonderful ladies in Malaysia. So Abir, can you introduce us more about yourself?
So my full name is Abir binti Abdul Rahim. Yes,
Mhm.
Abir is my only name. I'm a full time. I did my studies in actuarial science for degree, and my master's was in actuarial management. So
Mhm.
naturally, I would go into the actuarial
Science,
profession, which I
yeah.
did. And I came back from the UK about 8 years ago. I straight
Mhm.
away became a pricing. I straight away did actuarial pricing for the past 8 years. Not until recently I got promoted to do something else. So currently I'm the head of digital affinity at Great Eastern Takaful Berhad.
Mhm.
That's what I do full time. Part time, outside of work, during weekends, and especially right now, public holidays, I run a women empowerment platform called Lean in Malaysia. So Lean in Malaysia is a voluntary platform.
Mhm.
It's a non-profit organization. We
Mhm.
do a lot of programs to champion women and advocate for women's rights, I would say, especially when it comes to women in the corporate sector or women entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
We are trying to achieve to get more women in the leadership positions,
Mhm.
whether at the corporate level or community level. And we are also, doing a lot of programs to get more women back to the workforce.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And it's aligned with me as well because I strongly promote women empowerment. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's amazing.
Okay, moving on to the next question. What does woman empowerment means to you?
For me, I ask myself that every time I run linen, or I ask myself that every time, I lose the definition of myself, right? So what does women empowerment mean to me, or what does women empowerment look like to me? For me, by the end of the day, for I want women all over the world, not just in Malaysia, to
Mm-hmm.
be able to take the lead in their own life. Means that women are given the freedom to make choices in their own lives or make decisions
Yes.
in their own lives
Mm-hmm.
without having to be subjected to societal expectations, or
Mm-hmm.
without having to be subjected to any familial obligations or commitment. So women can be mothers,
Mm-hmm.
women can be single women or divorcees, or women can be sisters or daughters.
Mm-hmm.
But we need to be able to make our own choices in life, and that is empowerment for women to me.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Moving on to the next question. Who are your most inspirational woman figures in Malaysia and also internationally?
In Malaysia, I'm glad that you mentioned some of the names just now before we started this podcast. So, in Malaysia, I have always looked up to. I'm apolitical though, but I look at individuals based on their merits and credibility.
Mm-hmm.
I've always looked up to Nurul Izzah Anwar. Why I choose her, as one of my icons in life,
Mm-hmm.
from Malaysia, because I feel that someone as young as her, who started to fight for her own rights and who started to fight for her own family as well, and
Mm-hmm.
who went against the norm, who went against the conventional, right? Not just in the political world, but she herself is educated. She speaks really well. She's very articulate, but and she also leads in her political party.
Mm-hmm.
But being a leader, she is still strong with her femininity. So
Yeah.
for me, I look at that kind of individuals who does not change just because she has power in her hands. That's why I look up to her, because since the first day that she came into the picture, her values are quite her values does not change, and it has not, and they have not changed until today. So for me, I look at Nurul Izzah as one of my icons, because she is strong with her values, and she leads, but at the same time she does not change, and she is still, she still shows her feminine side in her leadership. And that's what I aspire to be someday soon. If I want to lead in an organization, I don't want to be just like any other man in the boardroom, or I don't want to be just like any other man who is a CEO. But I want to be known as my feminine self, but I want to be known as a leader. So that is someone I look up to in Malaysia. For someone I look up to internationally, can I mention two names though? So the first person, I'm in line with you, Farisha. I looked up to Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, AOC. She's the political leader who's running in New York City, and I feel that she I think she's still not married, right? So I watched a
She speaks
documentary
her
as well on
mind.
Netflix.
She's very
Yeah.
vocal. Yeah.
Correct. And she doesn't let anyone define her based on her marital status. She does not let anyone define her based on her education background. But she fights for the people, in her community. And I love her values. I love what she's fighting for.
She
Coming from
represents her community, for her people.
correct,
Yeah.
correct. And the way that she speaks up for herself, especially in the recent in the recent video that I think went public, she got harassed by a fellow politician, and who's a man, right? And then the fellow politician called her a bitch. And what she did was she went to the I don't know what it's called, but she explained in a very soft manner, but yet so powerful and impactful, the reason why we need to start teaching men to use better languages amongst women, because what the younger generation of girls are seeing is what they learn from the seniors, from our elders in the community, right?
Yeah, that's
So
right.
she was like saying, imagine you saying that to your own daughters, imagine you saying that to your own wife, right? So I felt like AOC is someone that I really admire, and the next person that I admire is Michelle Obama. So Michelle Obama, she is a Harvard.
High five.
Yes. Every morning I would listen. I would listen into her podcast, and I love the content of her podcast. She has a podcast on Spotify. I love her because she is a Harvard educated person, and she's a lawyer. And when Barack Obama took over office as the president, Michelle did not allow that to dim her light. She shines in her own ways, and shines in her own ways, not necessarily by saying that she's a lawyer, not by saying that she is Harvard educated, but she was her natural self when Barack was president, but people was looking also at Michelle. So both of them were standing side by side, right?
They're
And
the
that is
power
something
couple, and they support and empower each other. Yeah.
Empower each other. So that is, I admire her because she did not let Barack dim her light. She was shining on her own. So those are the people. I know I went overboard with my explanation why I admire these women. But
it's okay, you're passionate. You're the same as me. We're both passionate in it. Yeah.
Correct. So these are the three women that I look up to. I mean, I can name a lot more women, but just for just to answer the question.
Yeah, and what I like about Michelle and Barack Obama, you can see the love in both of them, right? They support and empower each other. So they're like the perfect strong power couple. And the husband being Barack Obama, the former president of the United States of America, he supports and empower his wife as well. So it's like a dynamic duo, like a strong force. So together as husband and wife. So that's amazing. I really look up to that because it's like, wow, like, yeah.
I think also, like, when we look up to people, right, it's not because we want to be them in the future. We want to be an equivalent version of we want to be them, but in our own ways.
Yeah.
At least we know that there are people out there who have done it, who have done it, who have achieved it, who has gone against the norm? Because I feel that these are the questions that a lot of women, have self doubts on.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we want to be CEO. Yes, we want to be a political leader, but then these self doubts hold us back because it's basically naturally what women go through.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
if
normal. Yeah.
if you read like a survey done or like research reports, if let's say there's a job promotion right at work,
Mm-hmm.
and you need like 5 criteria to be able to submit your name or apply for that job, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if women meet 3 out of the 5 criteria,
Mm-hmm.
research has it that women would not naturally apply for that job because they feel that they're not enough for that position, right? But if men meet 3 out of 5, they straight away put up their hands and they say, hey, I'm 100% qualified for the job. So it goes back to, the differences between men and women, I would say, still exist. It does exist because it's our natural self. We tend to be overthinkers. We tend to be, risk averse individuals. But sometimes we can't straight away assume that we are being negative, and we can't assume that these are weaknesses. Sometimes weaknesses can be transformed into your strength, right?
Yes.
So with these self-doubts, it's amazing to have women out there who have shattered the glass ceilings, who show us that nothing is impossible in life. So that's, if you want to admire people, we have to make sure that it is positively impacting us, and we
Yeah.
want to be someone like them, but
Mm-hmm.
we also want to do it in our own way, because everyone else is taken, right? You want to have your
Yeah,
own
we have to
identity.
be comfortable in our own skin. We have to be ourselves. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, and now moving on to the next question. What would be your advice for the young ladies out there?
My advice to the young ladies coming, I'm drawing from my own personal experience. I'm 32 this year, and my advice to the young ladies is that you need to make sure that your voice is heard, regardless of where you are. That's
Mm-hmm.
number one. Number two, you need to be able to define your own success and define your own happiness without relying on other individuals in your life. You may be married or you may not be married, right? By the end of the day, you need to make sure you make your own choices in life. You make your own decisions in life, and
Right.
you need to define yourself
Mm-hmm.
without relying on other people. So,
Need
you
to be
know, your voice,
independent.
you need to be
Yeah.
independent at the end of the day. Make your voice heard regardless of where you are, whether it's at work or in the community. Number two, self-define yourself. And number
Mm-hmm.
three, um, you know, say yes, keep on asking before saying no. So if there's an opportunity that presents itself, to you, straight away say yes. And then only you start thinking about the cost, and then only you start doing the whole cost benefit analysis. A
Yeah.
lot of times we say no before we realize that, hey,
We, yeah.
um it's something that is scary, but sometimes when things are scary, it is good for you.
We
And I
have to be
want
able to take
younger
the risk. We have to be a
you need
risk
to take,
taker. Yeah.
correct, you need to take the risk, you need to take the leap. Otherwise you won't know what you are capable of,
Mm-hmm.
in life. Otherwise you won't grow, and otherwise you won't unlock all this potential that you have in you. So three things: make your voice heard, self-define yourself, and don't say no before you have to say no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just go for it. Yeah.
Just, just go for it. Take the leap, take the risk. Do
Mm.
not think about anything. It's like shopping, right? Okay, I know it's a bad analogy, but it's
Okay.
like shopping. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you just want to buy it and then regret later. So if you can apply that to your lifestyle, so you can apply that in your career decisions. I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I have practiced that in my career. So
Mm-hmm.
recently, when I got promoted to be the head of the head of department of an entirely new role, it got me thinking about how I was so comfortable doing technical role for the past 9 years in my life or 8 years in my life, and I'm good at that. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm being asked to get out of my comfort zone to do a
And do
non-technical,
something different. Yeah.
entirely different. And so when my CEO, who's also my sponsor at work,
Mm-hmm.
offered a job, and I was like, okay, I might not, of course I had that question. So, okay, I might not be good at the job. I don't know. I don't have the experience of that particular role. But
Mm-hmm.
then having done lean for the past 5 years taught me that do not say no before you have to say, before you have to say no. So
Right.
I took away all of my self doubts and I said yes. And today I feel that it was something worth taking the risk for, because I realized that I've got these untapped potentials that I never
Mm-hmm.
knew I had. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was, and my job now becomes more interesting because
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole big world beyond
Yeah.
actual. You ask me, I mean, it's a good thing that you want to stick to a certain profession, but in order for you to climb the ladder, you need to get out of your comfort zone and start learning about
Developing
what
new
other people
skills. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
pick up the skills and learn how to interact with other people in other departments in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
Because when success is not an individual's effort. It takes a whole village by the end of the day, and that's what I believe in.
Right.
So yeah, so those are my three advice to the younger generation, to the younger women out there.
Amazing, amazing. Okay, and we have come to the end of the show, Abir. Okay, do you have any other advice that you would like to share with our viewers today?
Um, I I do. In fact, I mentioned about my sponsor and my mentor at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
To the younger women out there who are working, or it doesn't have to be in the corporate world, but if let's say you're starting a business, it's important to seek out for a mentor and a sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
What it means by that is, if you have a mentor at work, you are able to constantly go and seek for advice, right?
Right.
They're not necessarily your best friend. Mentor doesn't mean that this person is your best friend, but it's more on seeking
But they can
guidance.
coach and guide you. Yeah.
Correct. Coach and guide you. And having a sponsor at work means that this person who is a heavyweight in your organization would
Mm-hmm.
sit at the table and promote you. So these people would be the one that promote your capabilities and make you visible at work. So if you have the chance, seek out for a mentor and a sponsor at work. And also, like I mentioned earlier, do not let anyone define your value based on how you look, but
Mm-hmm.
because it has been in our culture, I think if it's safe for me to say this, right?
Yeah.
Women are always being subjected to their looks, I would say, right? How and because I think because okay, why I say this has happened a lot in at the places that I work in.
Mm-hmm.
I see like my interns who are younger girls. They they were being catcalled sometimes at work, by this old man, old Malay man at work. And when I saw that, and I was observing their reaction, and
Yeah.
and these younger girls' reaction were like they liked it being catcalled. And then for me, it didn't sit well with me. I was like, I don't think that's how you're supposed to respond to that kind of situation. Because when you do that, it means
Yeah.
that you find yourself valued by that kind of response and
Right.
reaction from people around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So so for me to to the younger girls out there, make sure people see your value,
Your
your your
worth, your
your
self-worth. Yeah.
your self-worth,
Mm-hmm.
um before everything else, because that's what important. Beauty fades, right? But if you want to climb the career ladder, if you want to make something out of yourself, if you want to leave a legacy and make a name,
Yeah.
you need to make sure that people see your self-worth first. But
Yeah.
it's not but at the same time, remember, it's not about meeting other people's expectations in life, but
Mm-hmm.
it's about being comfortable with yourself first and meeting
Yes.
your own expectations,
That's
and be
right.
your authentic self in whatever that you do, because it does result in the quality of your work by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I want the younger generation to
Mm-hmm.
start seeing,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of in terms of their mindset and having that kind of perspective in life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Abir. Okay, so how can people reach you if they want to connect with you online? What is your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, and also if there are some of my viewers who would like to know more about Lean in Malaysia, how did they can get in touch with you to know more about Lean in Malaysia programs and activities?
You can reach out to me. My social media accounts are public. It's very straightforward. It's
Mm-hmm.
Abir Abdul Rahim.
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram, on Facebook, or on Facebook, you can leave me any personal messages. Like, go ahead, slide in my DM. But for Lean Malaysia, you can also follow us on social media. That's where we would promote our programs.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a program coming up by the end of the month. We are doing a special screening of a documentary called Nevertheless. So
Mm.
Nevertheless is a documentary about the Me Too movement that is a big topic in the Western countries.
Uh-huh.
It focuses on sexual harassment. So this
Mm-hmm.
documentary was done by an award-winning director,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. So come and check it out on 30th of September, I think. But go to our social media to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
If you have questions, right, feel free to reach out to me. I hope I'll be able to respond. But if I'm not able to respond, I hope my content on social media is impactful enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I do appreciate that, Farisha. You give me this slot on your podcast, on your YouTube video, because I do want to reach out to a lot of younger girls. It's something that I
Yeah.
want to give back to the community, right? I might not be able to do so on my day-to-day basis all the time because I'm pretty tied up at work.
Yeah.
But self-definition is something that I'm propagating. It's very important to find your voice by the end of the day. You can't rely on anyone in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, but it also means that it doesn't mean that you don't need your family or your loved ones. You do need your family and loved ones because these are
Yes.
the
Yeah.
people who are your support system, right?
Mm-hmm.
But do not lose yourself in the process of achieving success and your goals.
Yeah. You
So
have to balance with work and life
correct,
as well. Yeah.
correct. Yep.
Okay, thank you so much, Abir, for being in Woman Empowerment Series video podcast with me. Okay, and for those of you who would like to connect and get in touch with Abir, you can get in touch with her on her social media account on Facebook, Instagram, and also LinkedIn. And if you would like to know more about Lean in Malaysia, you can connect on LinkedIn Malaysia, Instagram, Facebook, and you also have a Lean In page uh, for LinkedIn, right? For Lean in
Yes,
Malaysia. Yes, and also Lean in Malaysia website as well. Yeah.
yes, we do.
Okay, until then, stay safe, take care, bye.
Bye, guys.